Wait.
Hi, Suzette. Nice to be back with you and nice to be talking about those winning strategies that bring us closer together with our partners.
Hi, Bev.
So, today we wanted to talk about how to listen to understand. And we had some tips, we had some short points that we wanted to share. Um, I'll just jump in with saying the idea of this listening to understand, is really to repair, is to come back to closeness. It's not to, you see, I'm right and you're wrong. It's really to come back into closeness. So, what can we do for that?
Yes, I just want to say this is so much harder to do than it sounds. To get out of like this, my reality is right, and so I need to explain it to you, and just trying to understand your partner's perspective, recognizing that it's different, and the whole point is just to connect through wanting to understand their perspective and their experience. And it can be really hard to do, to set your own perspective aside enough to just sit and listen to their, and to suspend your own point of view and not really pay attention to your own perspective, your own point of view, and focus on what's their perspective, what's their point of view. I want to connect through understanding. It is really hard to do.
And I really love the fact that you said that, because we can't do any of this repair work without what Terry calls relational mindfulness, which is taking that pause and like, hang on, let me just hear what it is that you have to say and what it was like for you. Even if in my head it's like, yeah, well, duh, that was a stupid thing to do. It's to just take that pause and hear, and not try and put your perspective on. He describes it so beautifully when he talks about the metaphor of the customer service window.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I went to the customer service window and I said, look, to the person behind the window, my microwave doesn't work. And she said, well, you think you've got problems. My toaster doesn't work. That would be ludicrous. And that's how we fight very often. But if you can remember, when you want to repair, you're at the service of your partner. So you're there behind the window just to hear and listen and receive, for the time being, what their perspective is.
Yes, and it's that's so beautiful, and I think to be able to do that, to be able to kind of be at the customer service window and want to understand how they feel and how they think, and put your own perspective aside, you really have to be intentional about it. It's that relational mindfulness. I'm, like you said, I'm gonna take a breath and kind of just put my own need to be right, or my own need to be seen and heard, to the side, so that I can be there to see and hear and understand my partner first. Like, somebody's got to listen first, right? And then hopefully the other person can do the same for you.
Right. Even if it's not in that moment, I love that you said that. Like, so often I hear people say, I'm so tired of doing the right thing in this relationship. Well, that is the work of relationship. It's minute to minute, it's ongoing. It's not something we have in our back pocket. It's really an investment, and a constant investment. And when you can change your side of the seesaw, and you can just give your partner that moment, it really makes such a difference.
Yes, I agree. And I think another really important thing to remember is that the goal is not to agree. If your goal is to agree, then you're going to be fighting and over objective reality and trying to explain yourself and over explain each other. But the goal is simply to understand. Listening to understand is the whole point. You don't have to agree with their perspective to understand where they are coming from their version, from their perspective. It doesn't have to be your perspective. You don't have to agree with it, but you need to at least be able to understand what they are thinking and feeling from their perspective. And I really feel like it's a skill that takes practice to be able to do that. It takes a lot of cultivation and just daily practice in being a good listener.
It really does. And when you talk about it being difficult, I know for myself that sometimes my husband will be telling a story, and he might say, we were away for 3 days. And I said, no, 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 it wasn't that holiday. And to the person listening, it really doesn't matter. And if I can take that pause and say, you don't have to correct him. He's busy telling a story. Let him do it. because the facts don't matter.
No, and it feels dismissive when somebody's correcting. It's dismissive, like that wasn't what the point wasn't how many days were we on holiday, right? Like they were expressing a different point probably. So
Exactly.
yeah, it is so hard to just listen and not interject your own perspective and your own thoughts. It's really hard.
Right. And before we go, we did a beautiful video on needing to be right, which we could possibly link here for those of you who've missed it. So thanks,
Yeah.
Suzanne.
Yeah, good to talk to you, Bev.